Hi everyone, I'm MaryAnn. I'm a visual artist and voice coach from Singapore, currently in Singapore, and welcome to day 45 of my 100-day vlog series. So this is a video series where I share what I've learned over the years as an artist and a creative on this journey called life, where I share what I've learned about pursuing my dreams, pursuing my passion, following whatever really matters to me, discovering a worthy and meaningful purpose for myself, and I'm hoping that whatever I've shared here can also help you discover how you can live the best life that only you can live, how to find a worthy and meaningful purpose for yourself, and to go after the things that really matter to you and make your dreams come true. So if you have any questions relating to any of these or about the creative process and the artist journey, feel free to ask them in the comments below, or you can message me in any one of my social media links, which are in the write-ups attached to these videos. So yesterday I shared about how when we want to make things happen for us, it's about us daring to take that step to ask for an opportunity or ask for a collaboration or apply to that residency, or sometimes it just takes that step to ask for an opportunity, or to put ourselves out there and take a risk to do something outside of our comfort zone that actually gets us forward. But a lot of times it is the fear of rejection that stops us from even taking action at all. Like, we oftentimes think that when we're here and we ask for something, if we get a yes, we move forward, but if we get a no, we end up moving backwards. But the reality is, when we get a no, we haven't gone anywhere at all, we're just in the same place. But if you don't ask, you never know whether you could actually move forward or not. So what I want to talk about today is how we end up going backwards when we get a no. And a lot of times it's because of our own perception of rejection and what that means to us. And then we when that starts to when our internal monologue around rejection starts running, we end up telling ourselves that, oh, I'm not gonna do this again, or like, I'm gonna wait a while more before I do this, or whatever reasons we can tell us, whatever reasons we can tell ourselves to protect ourselves from future rejection, and we will just listen to it, and we will just stop ourselves from putting ourselves out there again. So in my own experience, this happened to me when I was in 2018, so about 2.5 years ago, where I wanted to start a weekly blog, so to write like a weekly blog sharing. And I took a risk because at that point in time, I was going through a period of not really being certain of what kind of artist I am, what is it that I really want to accomplish as an artist, what is my work really about. Like, I was going through a kind of like an identity crisis as an artist, and I took a risk because I'm not normally someone who shares honestly about what's happening with me, especially if it's a more negative kind of thing. Because I fear, being judged for that and all that. So I took a risk, okay, and I wrote a blog article or a blog sharing about what I was going through at that time, and I published it, okay, and I don't know, who read it, I don't know how many people read it, but all I know is that, I woke up one morning and I looked at my email, which is a bad habit I should change, to stop looking at my email first thing when I wake up. And I saw that I had a comment on this blog post, this blog sharing, and I went to read it, and it was a huge mistake because this comment was like an essay, and it's like worthy of being published as a blog itself. Okay, so this comment, basically this guy had come across my post, and I think he's older or something, or he thinks that he has more experience in this area than me, or something, and he just starts going off on me about how like, you artists are all the same, and you're all just caring about yourself and what your work is about, and not how you can contribute to the world, and blah blah blah. Okay, so he doesn't even know me. I don't know if he follows any of the other things that I've done, but basically he just goes off on me, okay, an essay worth of just bashing whatever I've written and putting, I don't know, just really dampened my mood and just ruined my day. Okay, so I felt like I had to respond to this somehow. So I wrote, because that was my way of dealing with it. So I wrote back a response through another blog post where I shared my response to this comment, and I even shared this comment even though he told me to delete it. And I got a lot of positive comments and affirmation from my friends and from some of my followers as well, where they were supportive of me and what I stood for and what I shared, and that this person, I should just ignore him. Now it's easier said than done, right? Because even though I, triumphantly came back from that, or so it seemed, that negative comment actually stopped me from wanting to share more authentically about what's going on with me in my journey. Like from that point on, every time I wanted to write a blog, every time I wanted to share something on social media, I would second guess myself. I would start thinking about, is this something that anyone else would want to read? Is this something that would give value to people? And it's nothing wrong with thinking that way, but that came from a fear that I would get the same kind of negative reaction or a backlash that was similar to that essay long, that essay long comment. And I didn't want to go through that again because I didn't like how that made me feel. And it took me, for me to do this vlog series now and to do 100 days of it, it took me 2.5 years from that incident to actually work up that nerve and that courage to put myself out there like that, and to put myself out there in a very vulnerable and authentic way. Because right now I can't hide behind my writing. I'm actually, here on video, my face, my voice, and a lot of it is not scripted. So chances of making mistakes are a lot higher. But this is my process of learning how to deal with rejection and learning how to deal with negative comments, although I haven't gotten any so far, so fingers crossed. But what I wanted to share today is that, what I realized over the last 2.5 years is that a lot of times these negative comments that we get on the work that we put out there, or the rejection that we get on something that we apply for, a lot of it is it just amplifies what is already our existing negative conversation in our own heads. Like when he started saying those things to me, it just made those voices in my head of I'm not good enough, why would anyone want to read this, why would anyone want to hear what I have to say, nothing I say is of value anyway. Like all these things that I'm already telling myself pretty much almost all the time, it just got reinforced, in an external reality because somebody else posted that on my blog article and my blog sharing. And what I realized also is that whatever this person is voicing out, a lot of it was actually his own negative conversation and the stuff that he tells himself, that whatever he's doing isn't of value, and all of that. And he's just projecting it outwards onto me because maybe, whatever I shared triggered something in him, and he felt that he needed to respond because that side of him was responding. So what I learned in that whole process, over the last 2.5 years of dealing with my fear of rejection and my fear of putting myself out there, is that it's really it still comes back down to managing those voices in your head, to managing, the triggers that we get from the external reality that we deal with. Like when they get a negative comment or when someone says no, what happens after that? That happens inside us, that results in us from, being in the same place to moving backwards. Like, what gets triggered? What voices, do we hear in our heads telling us that we're not good enough, that, we should just stop, we should just quit. And once we have more awareness around that, it becomes a lot easier to not listen to these naysayers because they're really just, amplifying the voices in our head. It's really not that different from dealing with ourselves, because ultimately at the end of the day we are still just dealing with ourselves. We're still just, we're in the practice of learning how to overcome our obstacles and overcome our internal barriers so that we can get to the bigger dreams and the bigger goals that we want in our lives. So if you liked today's video, subscribe to my YouTube channel or like my Facebook page wherever you're watching this on. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, or you can directly message me through any one of my links in the write-ups attached to these videos. And I will see you tomorrow.